Okay, hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is I'm a little bit confused looking at all the things that are going on. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Wednesday afternoon, July 4th. Let me see what's been going on. Excuse me.
Well, I fell into the Mariners trap.
You took you took the Mariners. That's right. You did. You had a lot of picks in the morning show, didn't you, Jim?
Yeah, I went 2 for 3 with the games that are finished so far, so I'm in fine shape. I have the under in the Padres A's game. It's 2-2 in the bottom of the 7th, so I'm in good shape there. I have the Philly run line. They're only up by a run, but this Baltimore bullpen is a mess, so I think it shouldn't be too hard to get one more run. I have the Milwaukee Brewers. We were right bang on with Chase Anderson having a great start.
Yes.
Should have done some unders and team total unders if we knew he was going to have a good start. But the Mariners look like they're going to let me down, but it should be okay. Everything should be okay.
All right, and I'm looking at the afternoon games. I, of course, had Detroit first 5 innings team total over, which cashed, but I had the money line at plus 200 on the first 5 innings, which pushed, and I also had the first half over, which was a loser, so I broke even on that game. What else happened in the afternoon games?
I hit with the Red Sox. I also hit with the Marlins, but I missed on the over there, which is too bad because I ended up taking the over 7 at minus 120, so it's going to cost me 1.2 units, even though I'm going to get a little bit more than 1 unit on the Mariners win. Those are my only morning plays. All right.
Great. I am trying to pull up the lines here, but as usual, my computer. I got to figure out a way to get a computer that works. Look at this shit. It won't even load basic. I got nothing else going on here. Just new computer, brand new computer. Is just eight tabs of SBR odds here is too much for this computer to handle, as well as the game scores for MLB. But hopefully it will load in a second. Also, I don't know if you checked, Jim, but if you can see on the Rugby. I did. We talked about who was the commenter who said that he was going to give us rugby plays.
It's
tonight?
Kyle Jack.
Yes,
right?
Kyle Jack. Is he there? I can't see.
Oh, Kyle Jack says, "What's up?"
Kyle Jack, I did wind up doing a little bit of my own personal handicapping of the rugby game. Was looking at it for a few minutes, and I was like, wait a minute. Melbourne's a great play here. I'm definitely gonna make this one an official play of my own. I bet it already. We'll see what Kyle Jack has to say, but we will do a little segment on rugby.
He's already jumping in saying Melbourne Storm.
Yes, there you go. I bet it. I got it at minus 5.5, and I am gonna give it as an official pick. And who knows? Maybe we'll make this a somewhat regular segment. It's not too much to a handicap. There's not that many teams in the rugby league.
No, it'll help if we have experts that will kind of guide us in the right direction.
Yes,
Kyle Jack being one of them, Danksy's being one of them. Glenn Kelly is very excited about rugby.
Yeah, rugby, of course, is a great sport. It's like football, but even more dangerous, right? Because they don't wear helmets and stuff.
Yes, and they bite the back of your head. That happened to me. I still have a little scar on the back of my head from teeth in a rugby match.
Very nice.
I'm too much of a pussy to play rugby anyways. I stopped playing as soon as I came home that day. I said, you know what? I'm not good at this.
They even have female rugby leagues.
I respect
Did you know that?
very
yes,
much.
Absolutely. And I have seen some of the female rugby players and some of those nude body issues, and they're not bad looking. Not bad looking human beings are female rugby players that I've seen. Small sample size, but based on what I've seen, not that bad looking.
Well, we know that you like women with some meat on their bones.
Yeah, I basically like any woman with an unusual physique. The harder it is for
unusual physique.
Yeah, the harder it is for a woman to buy clothes. The more attracted I probably am going to be to her. You know what I'm saying?
I find that very interesting. Did you let them know that, or you keep that to yourself?
Well, I do let them know that, even though that's terrible strategy. But I let them know it anyway.
Wow.
That's where. All right, so here we go. Wow. Okay, so Chicago did wind up winning it 5-2. Tampa Bay, yes. There you go. Atlanta did wind up. The Yankees did wind up hitting Tehran. So my lean to the Yankees first 5 innings team total over was money left on the table. I did bet that one. I thought it was a good bet. That was definitely a lean, and I just didn't give it as an official play. But it all evens out because, of course, Detroit -1 at plus 400 was also a lean, and that one lost. So that's okay.
Did you do any? You did totals on the Cubs-Tigers game, did you not?
First 5 innings team total over, which cashed, but I also had the first 5 innings over, which lost, and then I had Detroit on the first 5 money line, so it wound up pushing, and my leans pushed as well. Winner with the Yankees team total over, but loser with Detroit -1. So it all turned out roughly okay, and I also had I had Milwaukee -1, which is now Minnesota just scored, so it's a tie game. So that's looking like I'm hoping for a push there. Baltimore, Philly, San Diego, Oakland. I had no plays. Angels, Seattle, of course. Seattle -1 was a lean. That was one of the plays I was thinking about giving, but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. And then in the evening shows in the evening games. All right, let's see.
Q Peso is joining us. The proud new father. Man, wonderful pictures. It's so exciting, man. Congratulations to you and your family.
Yes.
We just loved it. That was so wonderful. Von Polo hit with the Tigers' first 5 run line.
Very nice, very nice.
CC Fitness says Pete likes women who take Trenbolone.
Sure. Yes, that's certainly unusual. Yes, and you get some unusual results, to put it mildly, when a female does go on Trenbolone. I like it personally. Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing. You know, people, they always talk about how can we make this show better? This show's going to get a lot better when I finally fix my computer issues. Trust me on that one, Jim. I'll be a lot less frustrated. I'll be a lot faster on the draw. I'll be able to bounce back and forth from handicapping to comments a lot better. Right now, I'm just still trying to pull up the comments. I haven't even been able to look at one comment so far. We're already 7 minutes into the show.
Yeah, no, we want you focused. Christ. We want you focused, and your computer issues kind of take away from some of that focus.
Yes, definitely.
But Jason Campbell, very focused.
Okay,
says both Melbourne and St. George had scrappy wins last week.
Yeah.
Melbourne have the best coach in the league. He wasn't too happy after they win. They rarely lose on. So Jason Campbell will be helping.
Yes, but he didn't give an opinion on that game, did he?
Oh, but he will.
Oh, he will. Okay,
excellent.
Excellent.
He will.
All right, so I already bet a web page is slowing down your browser. What would you like to do? Get a new computer. It's not the web page. It's the computer. All right, I'm about to be able to look at some comments. I'm trying to get to some comments here. This is fucking unbelievable. I'm going to go into a computer store and I'll be like, hey, do you have something I could use to browse the internet efficiently? And I'll be like, all right, well, fucking sell it to me with a warranty, some kind of guarantee. All right, let's see. Sure. What's going on here? All right. So anyway, I can read the picks that we gave in the morning show that are still hanging. All right. I have Mets Toronto first 5 innings under 5 plus 106. Mets first 5 innings team total under 2 plus 105. Cincinnati first 5 innings team total over 3, and Cincinnati -1, which is minus 119. Those are the plays that I have hanging from the morning show. And Jimmy the Bag, a whole ton of plays here. Let's see, what did Jim give? Dodgers run line -1.5 at minus 105. Jim also has Cincinnati first 5 innings team total over 3, and Cincinnati full game team total over 5.5. Jim also has Cincinnati on the run line -1.5 at plus 121. Jim has a Toronto first half run line -0.5 at minus 120, and also has the Mets first 5 innings team total under 2 at plus 105. Jim has San Francisco on the alternative run line -1.5 plus 190, and that's it. The other plays that Jim gave in the morning show are all in play right now. So that's it for Jim, and I have no real leans going as of right now. No leans officially. A bunch of interesting games though, and I'm ready to talk about this. We got 2 young starting pitchers. Trevor Oakes for KC. He's a huge underdog, and that's interesting. And of course, going for Pittsburgh is Holmes, also as a plus 200 dog. Both of these guys, have sort of mid-range to lower mid-range stuff, but have had recent success in the minors, which is why they've been promoted. Both of these guys have had some issues with walks in the minors and don't get that many strikeouts, which is not super promising, but they are, again, young guys who have had recent success in the minors, so they might have might be a little undervalued when they step into their first few starts in the majors, Jim.
Trevor Oakes' numbers are spectacular.
Yes.
Really. Spectacular. 3-0, 0.64 ERA in his last 7 starts with the Storm Chasers. 3 earned runs, 29 hits. 3 earned runs in his last 42 innings.
Yeah.
Wow. Lone MLB start, April 28th. He got touched by the White Sox. I don't have a play on this. Yesterday, I did not think the Indians were a slam dunk. They keep hitting grand slams to get out of trouble, and all these guys backing them on the -1.5 keep being rewarded. But for me, I don't know. I don't have a play on this Indians-Royals game. Do you have a move on it?
I mean, it's similar to yesterday, where you think Casey might be really this bad that Cleveland is worth a shot on the alternative on the run line. And of course, they did cash yesterday, but it wasn't like the Kluber game where they covered easily and it was never really in doubt.
It was in doubt.
Yeah, it was definitely in doubt. And here, once again, Cleveland probably does get the win. Cleveland probably does win by more than 1 run. But what are the actual odds that happens? And you compare that with the market odds. Not totally convinced that Cleveland is the right play here. At some point in the relatively near future, I probably will be able to read comments, and I'm very interested to hear what people have to say about this game. As of right now, still not at all able to fucking read comments. This is really pissing me off. This is costing us ratings and viewers and everything.
It's costing us
God
ratings. You have every right to be upset. Kyle Jack giving us information on this big rugby match, so I've copied and pasted to bring it up for the rugby segment. DB says, hey, I'm from Aussie. I know nothing about rugby, but please call it Melbourne.
Melbourne, okay,
not
yes.
Melbourne.
Oh, was I okay?
No, I believe I made the same mistake.
Okay. All right.
Tomor says, I think Bauer is elite.
Yes.
I'd lean Cleveland run line, even at this price. Don't trust a young pitcher. First MLB start. Ziggy Ball says, maybe Indians second half.
Maybe Indians second half. Okay. That sounds pretty good. I'm thinking maybe I should have restart my computer here, because keep in mind, this is not my old computer that I had trouble with. This is a brand new HP computer that doesn't fucking work. And I'm not talking about doing any like gaming or streaming or anything. I'm talking about basic internet browsing and checking positive comments on the YouTube show.
CC Fitness says Cleveland team total over. Sean Thompson says, I like Cleveland run line going away.
Cleveland run line going away. Yeah, the question is just what will you get from Oaks? I really don't. I mean, if I got a free play right now, I would definitely throw it on KC here, at least on the first 5, maybe the first 5 under, because a guy like this, Oaks, you never know. Maybe he'll come up and have the jitters, but I think more likely than not, he's relatively effective. The first 5 innings might be worth a shot, and it is 4.5 or 5. I'm wondering if that might not be worth a reasonable shot. Wondering. I mean, you can almost guarantee that you're going to, even though Bauer's running up these massive pitch counts, you can almost guarantee that you're going to get another solid 6-inning start from Bauer. You know what I mean? Especially against this lineup, right?
I think so. I mean, we know that Oakland A's lineup is smashing. He held them to 2 runs on 6 hits over 6 2/3. This will be his 3rd start of the season against the Royals. First 2 came at Progressive Field. 0-1, 3.55 ERA in 2 starts. For his career, 2-4, 3.39 ERA in 12 starts. 2-1 with a 2.27 ERA in 6 starts at Kauffman Stadium. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can assume he's going to have a good start. This Royals offensive lineup is terrible. Yeah. And Big Dick Donnie letting us know the good news.
What's that?
Milwaukee's up 3-1.
Oh, very nice. I have Milwaukee -1 as an official pick. And in updating my news here, I just closed out Excel and closed out all the browsers, and it seems like the computer is able to handle a Word document, which is nice. Congratulations, HP, for producing a computer in 2018 that can actually handle Word. Well done, engineers at HP. Now I'm going to try to open up Firefox once again and see if I can get some comments here. Any
Kingu
comments coming
about in? Business says if the kid gets hit, Cleveland wins by more than 4 because Royals bullpen will definitely give up runs.
Yeah, and my sense is if the kid doesn't get hit, you're looking at a very strong play on the first 5 innings under 5, because that means that Casey's going to have to hit Bauer, which is entirely possible, but not likely, I don't think.
Now, Lamont Williams reiterating what he was saying in the early show, which is very, very exciting. KC, run line or full game, money in the bank. And I tell you what, at these odds, now I've been doing this, and obviously I've been leaving, leaving money on the table. But I'm not going to take the Indians here. I just don't see I'd have to take them on the run line. Oaks has been incredible in the minors. Not to say that he will do it here. Shout out to my man Kyle Fergus from Portland. Miss you, pal. But right now, I don't think it... I would have to take him on the run line. This kid's been lights out in the minors. The Royals aren't going to go the whole season, or at least against the Indians. They're not going to lose every single game against the Indians. I mean, the Royals have scored 4 or fewer runs in 24 of their past 25 games.
Yeah, they've got a crappy offense. I just can't comment. I want to give the first 5 innings under. Oh, here we go. I want to give the first 5 innings under as an official play, which is basically taking a shot with this guy Oaks being decent. What's your general sense on that, Jim? I mean, obviously, it's just an educated guess here, but I mean, I know you're not going to tell me anything I don't already know. Yeah, the guy's going to be great in the minors, right?
Well, he's been better than great in the minors. But, I mean, this isn't a guy who's in the PCL league. This is a guy where, these guys, when you play in, northeastern parts of the States, you're expected to have, good numbers.
Yeah.
But these are phenomenal numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Phenomenal.
Jesus.
And he's not, I feel like when these guys would have dominant numbers and aren't striking out more than a strikeout an inning. They're in control. They're not trying to do too much. I feel like they can come into the show, not try and do too much. Now, clearly, he has not done that.
Michael Lunde says, Pete, that's the reason you use a separate tablet to browse internet porn and not your workplace computer. But I thought that the sick shit porn doesn't give you viruses and doesn't tie up the computer.
Only the sickest porn
has no viruses, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why I thought I was safe. But I guess
if you're watching soft porn,
right?
Immediate viruses.
Right, because that's what they figure everyone's watching it, and so that's where they focus all their developer resources to those kinds of viruses, and they leave the real sick shit alone. Which is why I thought I wouldn't have a problem, but maybe that is not the case. I am now suddenly looking at comments. All right, now we can pretty much officially. The show doesn't really start until I can read comments.
Until you can read comments. But I'd like to give a shout out to Anton Gardner. Representing the Bahamas.
Shout out to Anton Gardner.
That's where we'll have to go after we start our tour in Kenya.
What's the first comment? I'm seeing King Rail says Moses in the house.
No, Anil Frank. My man Anil Frank saying, what up, guys? Ski Prophet saying, low bag fam, what up? SBR Forum saying, hey, all.
Where is Moses in the house? Is that like minutes later, or is it very quick?
Who's from which comment?
King Rail, Moses in the house. It's down. Oh, my God. Look at all those comments.
It's way down.
It's way down, huh?
Yeah.
Shit. All right, I'll have to...
King Rail's first comment was Red Sox was easy money. Thanks for that, everyone.
Oh, my God.
It was easy money.
Jesus. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that, everyone. All right, so I'll just start with the comments that I can see right now. Ab Edge says, White Sox worth a look tonight, assuming Covey has some control. I would disagree with that. I'm thinking that this is a bad spot for Covey. I'm thinking that we might look to bet on Covey maybe later this year, maybe next year. But tonight against Cincinnati, I'm definitely fading, and I have taken Cincinnati -1 and the first 5 innings team total over. Jim has done the same thing. Jim's tripled up. So we'll see if you're right, Ab Edge. But
I'm very uncomfortable about taking these 5.5s. They've just screwed me. I was so nervous sending the bet in. I almost stopped myself. I said to Drew Martin, I was like, man, these 5.5s, am I just going to lose money in the long run?
I think so, yes, because you got it. There's a lot of times where it'll soar over and it'll get to 8 or 9. You'll think, what was I afraid of? But a lot of times it'll hit like 4 and 5. Once in a while it'll be like 0 and 1. You'll be like, wow, that wasn't even close. But you'll have a lot of close losses. You know what I mean, Jimmy the Bag? You have a lot of close losses.
A lot of them, and you get the early runs and they won't finish the deal because they don't need to put their foot on the gas.
Right.
So I'm uncomfortable with that spot, to be honest with you. I mean, I know I was hearing Anthony L saying how he would have taken the team total over with the Yankees, but he doesn't like taking for the first 5, but he doesn't like the 3s. And I get it. I totally get it because you're almost thankful if you push.
Yeah.
So I get it. Truth LSRP says, why don't they cap MLS on the show? Is the league that bad? They do WNBA, rugby, but no MLS?
Listen, we'd love to cap everything, and hopefully at some point we'll get a system down where we can touch on everything, but we definitely don't have the time to be quote-unquote experts on everything that we cap. And you're asking, so what? Are you an expert on everything that you cap right now? Yeah, I'm up in every single thing that I'm capping right now. MLB, CFL, WNBA, and MMA. I'm up units in all of that, Jim.
Beautiful.
All of that, Jim. We do have MMA. I've given one official pick already in MMA with the Andreas Hale show that we did in the morning, and I will share that with you in the evening. Share that with you in the MMA segment in this show. Bill Butlicker said, "Restart it now, Pete." All right, no, I was thinking about restarting it, but I had to make a calculated, quick decision, and I decided just to close out the browser. But I am able to see the comments right now, and I'm trying to pull up the lines right now. Okay, so I was thinking about the first 5 innings under in that KC game, and it is 5. 5 is available. Let me see. God, the fucking. I'm trying to pull up the numbers. So I can quote a line here. First 5 totals. Here we go. And I could get 5 -119 at Bookmaker. Bauer against Oaks.
Yeah, I get it.
Sorry for the delays in these shows, people. I would normally be bouncing back and forth from topic to topic, but I'm waiting for the weather report.
As you should.
Look at this. Oh, here it goes. Just loaded.
Stephen Alice says they don't have enough time as it is. We are here to help with the other sports.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen Alice.
Yes, absolutely. And, by all means, I'm hoping that we can organize things where we can get like a regulated, regimented process and get guest opinions and guest handicappers, and we can do bang, bang, bang. And then we will be able to cover many more sports than we cover right now. Hopefully that will happen. Let's see. All right, so let me just quickly check one thing here, and then oh my God, and then I'll see it loads halfway, and then everything's covering everything else up. All right, let me see. I'm definitely thinking pretty hard about taking the KC first 5 innings under at 5, which is risky, but I think it might be okay, and I'll take a shot with it. Cleveland KC first 5 under 5. That's going to be minus 119, I believe. Even though I had the 5 inning lines up. Yep. Now it takes just to show them again. All right, 5 minus 119. That is at bookmaker. I'm not even thinking clearly right now, but I'm going to take that one. Cleveland
I think that's
KC,
a nice play.
First half under 5 minus 119. That's an official play for me. It is all predicated basically just on Bauer having another strong start, despite the fact that he's running up high pitch count after high pitch count. Doesn't seem to matter with him, and also predicated on this guy Oakes being able to generate some grounders and stifle this Cleveland lineup at least enough to not get crushed here.
Yeah, I think that is I think that's a nice play. I mean, it's just Oakes is a problem because we know the Royals will have a tough time getting to 3 runs.
Yeah.
Can we trust Oakes to go 3 runs or less?
In the meantime, I'm checking line movements. I did take the first 5 innings under in the Mets-Toronto game. I got 5 at plus 106 and a big market move to the over. That's not a good sign. It's now 5.5 at most places. Pinnacle is 5 plus 123 to the under. I wonder why that would be.
I think it's just a recency thing. I mean, we
so?
saw their bullpens get absolutely destroyed.
But this is first 5 innings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow,
the first 5 innings took a major move, a half-run move to the over, which is not great to see. Let me see other line moves of note here. Let me just check everything. Other line moves of note. Yeah, the Cincinnati line has gotten bet up further since in the morning show it had gotten bet down a little bit from the opening line, and since the morning show it's come back up. So that's a good sign for us. I took Cincinnati -1. Jim took Cincinnati on the run line, and we also took Cincinnati team total overs. Let's see. The San Francisco Colorado game has not seen much line movement. In the morning, there was a small move favoring San Francisco. Now it's come back just a little bit in favor of Colorado. So we'll discuss that game in a bit. And then the Arizona St. Louis game has moved a little bit since opening in Arizona's favor. Of course, the deal with Corbin is that his last, people were expecting Corbin to start to be an auto fade, to start to regress in a major way. His last 2 starts were good, though. A little bit of an easier situation in the start at Pittsburgh, but his last 2 starts were admittedly good. But then again, when you look back at his last 10 games, you'll see multiple bad starts at home where he really got touched, and that might happen again tonight. But it's interesting that the market has been favoring Arizona just a little bit as far as the line movement is concerned. And then the Houston-Texas game, very interesting. Houston is, as expected, a big road favorite. Not a huge move either way. About a 15-cent line move in favor of Houston since opening. But, I guess that's just an educated guess exactly how vulnerable each of these starting pitchers will be. So that's it for the line moves on the games this evening. Any picks you want to add, Jim?
I'm hesitant. I do. Okay, I wouldn't mind breaking down. I'm interested in your under, first 5 under, very interested. And Tomar says I usually find minor league numbers are a contrary indicator. Players with bad numbers often perform well. Players with good numbers often struggle.
It's hard to say. We did just see recently Senzatella. Now, Senzatella was different because he had extensive major league experience, but I took Senzatella's recent success in the minors to be indicative of likely success in his last start, and I was right about that. I think I wouldn't say that they're contrary indicators, but I would say you take them with a grain of salt.
I agree. I think that's too extreme to say that they're just straight up contrary indicators. But I hear what you're saying. Lamont Williams says, Jimmy, tell Pete St. Louis first 5 under 4.
Wow, really? He likes the under 4 in that Arizona game.
Wow, total. Such a low total. I feel like both pitchers are
coming down a little bit.
Yeah. And Corbin's home numbers aren't great this year.
No.
4-3, 3.69 ERA.
Well, if you look at his last 10 games, his home starts overall have been, he's gotten hit most of the time that he's been at home. Now, maybe he's improving now, but I'm not a buyer on Corbin right now. And Mikolas, it's been awesome what he's done, but he certainly hasn't been lights out over his past 3 or 4 or 5 starts, and Arizona's been hitting the ball. I would disagree with you, Lamont Williams, but I'll be very impressed if that one cashes easily.
Yes, I will be very impressed too. I just think it's just too low of a total. Now, Mikolas, we say he's come sort of back to earth because he's lost 3 of his last 5 decisions, but those were all quality starts. So, I mean, he's very impressive. He gave up 1 earned run in 2 of those losses.
Yeah.
And then Corbin's, throwing 2 straight quality starts. We know his velocity is down a little bit, but his numbers are still very good this year. I'm just shocked when I look at his numbers. 134 strikeouts in 106 innings. Is that the Patrick Corbin you remember? I mean, I just can't believe he's striking out so many batters.
Yeah.
0.99 whip. 1-1, 4.50 ERA in 4 career starts against St. Louis. Cardinals don't hit lefties, and Diamondbacks don't really hit anybody. I mean, they're 229, 700 OPS. I was fortunate to hit the run line last night. If it wasn't for one Goldschmidt 3-run homer, which kind of came against the flow of the play, I would not have taken care of business. Now they did start, generating a little bit of offense late in that game, but I just can't back it. It's just too much. Nutflush 16 says, for your information, it's going to be hot as hell in the Dodger game today.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I'm not as high on Holmes's prospects here against the Dodgers as I am against Oaks to have a decent 4 or 5 inning start against Cleveland. That's definitely I'm looking at some comments right now. Let's see, Antoine Hutchinson. What happened?
2-run homer Phillies.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice.
Oh, I needed that because I was on the run line.
Very nice.
I knew that Orioles bullpen is so susceptible.
They are.
You just got to stay in long enough and then attack them. Anybody taking Baltimore, it just has to be a first 5 play.
Yes.
And Jeffrey Ramirez was great. And he deserves better than that trash Orioles bullpen. But what am I saying? It's wonderful.
All right, so let's see. Other comments. I'm looking for comments. I'm going to scroll back just a little bit to see what we have here. Yeah, Lamont Williams, I'm seeing that one. The Truth LSRP. Yes, why don't they cap MLS on the show? We're doing our best here to cover everything. Other people looking for maybe we can start. Let me see. Sean Thompson says, even if Stroman cruises, what will he give you? 5 or 6? Both pens are exhausted.
Stark Raving Totals has joined us. Charles Stark has joined us. I don't mean to interrupt, but Stark Raving Totals is here. Pitt Dodgers over 8. LA finally hitting last 3 games, hitting 387. Pitt hits lefties better than righties. Now they get to face another back-to-back and not named Kershaw. And the way Rich Hill looks coming off of the DL, I don't know if Kershaw looks that much better, though. But I hear what you're saying. You get more comfortable facing lefties every day. Lamont Williams says, write it down and thank me tomorrow.
I will. I certainly will. We will write it down. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm looking at some comments here.
I need them to stop scoring. It's 4-2 now. Oakland just got loaded bases, none out, got 2 runs in, 4-2. I needed under 8.5.
Tom Marino says, Casey has seen Bauer a lot. I'd lean under, but not on it. I don't know if seeing Bauer a lot helps you that much, especially if you have the lineup that Casey has. I mean, Bauer has just been dominant despite high pitch counts. Doesn't necessarily go deep, but he's been great. And Casey, that's great if they've seen him a lot. Maybe they want to find some better hitters to send in there and see him a lot, in upcoming starts, because the hitters they got now are not getting it done in any which way against anyone.
He's got so many pitches. That's the one thing about Bauer. He's got so many pitches.
Yes.
He's got so many different ways to get you
I think he has a knuckle curve. Doesn't he have a knuckle curve? I believe.
Does.
Yes, he developed a knuckle curve, and that was a part of. I remember when he made the changes. I was on. That was last year, and I was on that relatively quick. That was when I started to turn things around for myself. That was one of the trends that I jumped on quick. Bauer being a good pitcher, and I was riding that for most of his starts.
Brian Lee giving Charles Stark a shout out for his under in the Indiana-Minnesota WNBA game yesterday.
Okay, Sean Thompson says, wearing my Lucky Cubs tank. That's great. Looking for other comments here. I'm going to give some other picks. I just want to get to some comments and make sure we're not. So James Wilson says Dodgers over. That might be a great play. My only concern is just that, again, the Dodgers seeing a youngster who they haven't who hasn't had no one that has any tape on, major league tape, and Hill has been good.
My concern is Hill. The Pirates OPS is just dropping against lefties. They were smashing lefties earlier in the year, and it just keeps dropping. So Hill, and Tomar mentioned Hill's mechanics change coming off the DL. Hill looks good. If I was going to take an over here, I'd take a Dodgers team total over.
Yeah.
But against the pitcher they haven't seen it, I'm a little hesitant to do that.
That's a little bit tricky as well. Yes, Tomarino says, I don't want to fade Hill. It's changed mechanics. Yes, that's what he said. Dodgers are playing great with Kershaw back. This is usually when they start heating up. On the other hand, Hill is old and he has some health issues, right? The blister issues can pop up, and at any time.
But I bet you he's has no arm fatigue whatsoever. So we're just dealing. They use some sort of a new laser technique that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But they use some sort of a new laser technique for
really.
Yeah,
but for the blisters.
For the blisters.
Man, the Dodgers are ahead of the curve on a lot of this. All right, let's go down all this game by game. Again, the only play that I've added officially is Cleveland KC first 5 innings under at 5 minus 119. Let's talk about Houston, Texas. Cole against Minor. I was thinking maybe Houston on the second half at minus 155 would be a decent play. Maybe the first 5 innings under because Minor has been good. And of course, as we know, Cole has had an awesome year. He's been coming back down to earth recently, but still pitching pretty well. His last start, his runs, there was also some bad defense behind him. I'm not sure I'm looking to fade Cole yet, but ready to fade Cole yet. But
I went forward with all of my leans this morning, and the only one I didn't was my Rangers team total overs. I thought that they might hang a 1.5 for Cole, and they didn't. I thought, maybe you get a 3.5 for the Rangers team total because the Astros bullpen is so good. They didn't do that. So Mike Minor's pitching the way I imagined him to pitch. When he came up with the Braves, I thought, God, this guy, I had him in a baseball pool like 3 years ago or so. And I was like, he's going to be a stud. And whatever is changed, whether it be Trembolone or confidence, he looks great. Now, this Astros team is now hitting 270 with a 781 OPS for his lefties, and that number is climbing and climbing and climbing. One thing I just wanted to mention before we move on too far, I know that you struck with Herman yesterday on the pitching props. My man Kingu about business likes the Rich Hill strikeouts today. It's at 5.5.
He likes the over?
He thinks he gets 6 or 7.
Okay. Yeah, some of these pitcher props, I'm gonna maybe try to organize my shit, organize my life when I get a new computer, and try to focus in a little bit more on the pitcher props and also on teams to score first and first inning props as well. Yeah, I can certainly see that. I was thinking about a shot in this Astros game, getting back to the Astros game with Houston second half minus 155. But what's up with the Texas lineup? It feels like at this point Texas lineup is almost as good as Houston's lineup.
Sorry, Kingu about business talking about Matt Kemp and then bringing up when he was dating Rihanna, and I just got some flashes of Rihanna, and I just went stone cold.
The Texas lineup has been as productive as Houston's lineup recently, haven't they?
Yes, and there was mentioning here in the chat by Tomar saying Rangers lineup depends on home runs. Seem to hit a lot or not at all. Cole's numbers are so good against them, I think it's hard to back the Rangers here. Yeah, this Rangers offense has been very impressive, and when they were cold, there was tons of injuries they were dealing with, and once they started getting healthy again, they picked it up.
Yeah, so that makes me nervous about taking Houston on such a high second half favorite line at minus 155. Ziggy Ball says, plus the Astros have been losing, but they always do great in this stadium. I mean, they've won like 12 out of 13 or something ridiculous like that. I'm definitely leaning Houston minus 1 and definitely leaning Houston on the second half. I know Minor is good and definitely leaning on the first half under as well. Let me see, what would that line be? It's only 5. If I could get a 5.5, I might consider taking that one. But because Cole could get hit, Minor could get hit, both these guys could get hit.
Minor looks so great, but you've got to be very pensive when you take any lefty against this Astros lineup. And remember, when the Astros started off the year, they weren't smashing lefties. This is something that's happened over the last 2 months or so, or at least 6-7 weeks. So I'm thinking of not making any plays on this. All right,
I'll tell you what. I will throw on Houston on the second half, minus 155. That's the current line at Heritage. A little bit higher than I'd like to be taking, but I'll take it. Houston on the second half, minus 155, and Houston on the minus 1 line at about minus 135 or 140 or so would also be a lean for me as well. Houston minus 1 is a lean, but I'm just going to take them on the second half line at minus 155. We're a little bit down on Cole relative to what we were earlier in the year, and we're a little bit higher on Minor than what we were earlier relative.
No, way higher on Minor.
Way higher on Minor.
I thought Minor was just because they brought in all these veteran lefties, or just old veteran pitchers. And I was like, come on, they brought who they bring? Cologne, Minor. Do they have Gallardo on that team? They have all these just old bums. And I was like, Jesus, they're just giving up. And Minor stepped up in an enormous way. I was extremely impressed. Now, talking more about these pitching props, Kingu already hit with Barrios strikeouts under.
Oh, nice.
God, he's not a sharp play.
Yes, sharp as hell.
God, great job, Kingu, man.
Very nice, very nice. The number was 7. Wow, he only pitched, and then of course, if you think a guy is going to get hit, then taking his strikeout props under is also because he's going to get, he's not even going to get the at bats for that. You know what I mean?
That is a great play.
I'm telling you, Jim. Jim, what you do, you take a lot of sides and totals, full games. Those are tougher markets to beat.
Yeah.
If you want to start maybe stacking some units, look what I do: first 5 inning team totals, second halves, pitcher props. You know what I mean? Strikeout props. Give a little thought to that. You might start stacking units like a bitch, like a wild man. man, Jim.
Well, I don't want to stack units like a bitch.
No, like a wild man. How about that? How about that? Like a Socceroo, like an Australian rugby player. How about that? You might start stacking units like an Australian rugby player.
I would prefer that.
You know what I'm saying, Jim?
I do. I would like to stack units like the legend Pistol Pete Loshak. That's what I'd like to do.
I'm not. Look at what I'm doing. I take a lot of -1s and I take my unders here and there. But look at what I do. I'm a lot of team totals. You know what I mean? A lot of derivatives. You know what I'm
telling
saying?
you, I'm going to end up this season back in the plus.
Easily.
I'm going to end up in this season back in the plus, or I won't even come back.
All right. So yes. All right. So let's see. What else do we have here going on? Any comments here? Cream of Wheat Jones like the Rangers plus 1.5 more than the Astros run line. All right. Now let's move on to the Mets game. Again, I took the first 5 innings under, which is moved strongly against me. Jim and I both took the Mets first 5 innings team total under, and the total has moved significantly up. The full game has moved up a half run, and the first half surprisingly has moved up a half run as well. I can understand if people think that these bullpens are going to get crushed, but the first 5 innings total moved up as well. Obviously, Oswalt is a question mark here, but he again is another guy who had some decent results in the minors. His last start was bad. Maybe he comes back here and has a little bit of a better start. And if Stroman does hold the Mets to 1 or 0 runs, then the first 5 innings under, which I took, is probably okay as well. But maybe not. Maybe Oswalt gets crushed. What do you think?
These Mets pitchers are in Las Vegas, and we know that that's probably the single hardest place to pitch.
Yeah.
In that Pacific Coast League. Now, he had a 5.32 ERA, which isn't terrible. It's not bad. And they say in that PCL league, anything under 5 is fine. But in saying that, this Mets team was devastated with injuries to their starting pitching, and we would have seen Oswalt a long time ago. If they really believed in him. I don't think he's going to come in here and be great. Now, Stroman, though, needs to turn his whole season around.
Yeah.
These are big starts for him. Still's got a 6.02 ERA. I think he's going to pitch well. But I don't like these 2s that we're taking on
the first 5 innings.
Yeah, and in fact,
don't be afraid of it, Jim. You want to pull it?
No, I'm not going to pull it. But in fact, I wouldn't have taken it if you didn't take it.
Okay, well, I did take it, Jim. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of this one. Stroman, if he's I feel like there's a lot of volatility with Stroman, right? If his changeup and everything is working and his sinker is working, he's hard to hit, and he'll give you goose egg after goose egg. When he gets hit hard. So if he gets hit, if he's off his game, the Mets lineup will put up 6 runs by the end of the 5th. But if he's on his game, a 0 or 1 run start is entirely likely. And the only question is just when will his shoulder fatigue crop back up? It could crop back up at any moment, at any minute, including in this start.
But we remembered what he said after his first good start. He said, "I was throwing 100," and I don't understand what this means. Really. I mean, I guess I do, but it's the way he said it is just kind of a dumb way of saying it. But he said, "I was throwing 100% before, and I didn't have the control. Now I'm back to throwing at 85%. I can control where the ball goes. I'm not forcing it. I'm not pushing it." That to me was a sign that he's now pitching within himself. He's not forcing it. Elliot Eddie says Stroman too emotional on the mound for me to back him here. Listen, this is not an emotional spot. You're right. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. Fulmer backing him again, watching him. He threw his glove up in the air when they tied up 3. And I was like, God damn, why am I backing this guy who's such a fucking baby on the mound? But Stroman is a little too emotional, but this isn't an emotional spot. Who does he care about going at? Just Batista? Sean Thomas says Stroman, no, I cannot back him. Listen, he looks good. And with his numbers the way they are, we're going to get value backing him.
Yeah, well, value may be on the totals, not on the side, because Toronto is a massive favorite here once again in the -170s. Is that justified?
Well, how did the Mets not win yesterday? I mean, they have Wheeler, whom I believe is a stud on the mound. They're up 6-1, and they still lose that game.
So they're like the National League version of Baltimore, is what you're saying.
Exactly. They're just a terrible baseball team. And if you're going to back them, it can only be first 5s.
Okay. So now let's move on to the White Sox and Cincinnati. Again, Jim and I are buying on the Covey fade tonight. I'm on the first 5 innings team total over and Cincinnati -1. Jim has tripled up. Cincinnati team total over. Cincinnati first 5 innings team total over. And Cincinnati on the run line +121. The last time we did this, I believe it was a Boston Red Sox game where we did the exact same type of thing. I had the first 5 team total over and the -1 line. Jim tripled up on the run line, first 5 and full game team total overs, and he cashed all 3 of those. And I'm feeling relatively confident about what we got going tonight as well.
I'm uncomfortable with it.
You are?
That 5.5. I just don't. I've had real bad. This is another spot where if you weren't fully endorsing it, I wouldn't have. I would have been more hesitant.
I'm not worried, pal.
Your voice just went up, though. Your voice went.
Sure. You know, hey, look, if it loses, it loses. You know what I'm saying? The losses will come. But am I worried about it? No, I'm not. All right, let's move on to Pittsburgh and the Dodgers. Jim has already given the Dodgers -1.5 at -110 as an official pick, which, you know, I mean, the Dodgers might just have way too big of a lineup edge here. And then the big question is what we get from Hill against Holmes. You might once again, in that the last time you took the Dodgers on the run line, the line came out too late, and I didn't have a chance to handicap it for the show. But in retrospect, when I was sitting there right before the game went off, I was like, oh man, Dodgers -1 is a no-brainer play on that one. What was that? That was Kingham against
yeah, it was a 17-1 game.
Yeah, and who was Kingham against
Wood, Alex Wood. This is you know what, the Dodgers are going to roll from here on out in the season, I think, and I've thanks to Nostra Toda, I took them to win the division. I think I ended up. Nostra got in before me, of course, as he always does. And I waited a little too long. I think I only got +190 when +230 was hanging around for so long, and Nostra got even higher than that. But I just think this Dodger team is going to roll. Their offense is just cruising. When you got guys like Max Muncy hitting 16 home runs in 49 games, and he's not even playing every day. I feel like I don't want to get too confident because that's not been helping. But I feel like this is sort of low hanging. Twadi Latte says ride the Dodgers bats. Rob Portwanda says Dodgers run line. Good call, Jimmy. Oh no, the Brewers gave up a homer. Please tell me there was only one man on. Okay, good.
Okay. Right.
You know what? I think maybe the team total should be added here.
First 5 innings is 2.5. Full game is 4.5 for the Dodgers. Do you think they're really just going to crush this guy Holmes?
You know, even if they don't crush him, they seem just to be hitting so many homers. A lot of them are coming with nobody on base. But I think Holmes is in a tough, very, very tough spot here. A very, very tough spot, and a tougher spot than Oaks is in. Even though that Indians offense is very difficult.
Yeah. All right, I'm thinking about throwing on the Dodgers -1 as well. I'll think about that a little bit more. Then San Francisco, Colorado. Jimmy the Bag, of course, did take San Francisco -1.5. He got +190. And I was actually thinking about, let me find my notes here. I was thinking about a shot with, the thing is that, I mean, Anderson, I don't know what to make of him because he's off a great road start. Not sure he can be trusted at home. The Rockies are 1-6 in his home starts this year. That's Anderson. 1-6 in his home starts this year. You know, he usually manages to give up 3 or 4 runs in 5 or 6 innings at home, so he rarely gets crushed at home. But the Rockies just don't win his starts. I was thinking maybe a shot with the second half under. I was also thinking about Colorado -1. Suarez is pretty decent. He does get grounders. Will he be able to do that at Coors? Not sure, but I was vaguely thinking about unders here, and I was thinking about a second half under, again, in the Senzatella start. I like the under. I mentioned it in the show. Didn't have the balls to give it. It was a lean that cashed, and that was one of my leans where I was like, damn, I wish I had given that one. This one I did bet at 11.5 on the overnight line, and it's now down to 10.5, although the Greek still has 11, and I would also be leaning a second half under at 4.5, I believe. 4.5 -115, although both of these bullpens are very suspect, bordering on dog shit. Right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't think the Giants bullpen is dog shit, but it's definitely below average. I would be curious to see where you have them ranked. I would say probably 21st or 22nd in the league.
We're not pulling up another Excel spreadsheet. I understand. I understand the information would be very valuable, but everything will stop if I try to pull up another Excel spreadsheet right now.
I think that what I'm doing with the Reds may not work. But it makes sense to keep taking the team totals overs, even though it's so high. If they were hanging a team total over, because when Twadi got on this team total override with the Reds, they were hanging 4s, 4.5s.
You still stressing about this Reds game,
I'm stressing about that. Yeah, because I just got another winner.
It's gonna be okay, man. Can you dig it? The Cubby's gonna get hit here, baby.
I'm gonna take the Dodgers team total over full game.
Okay. My man Jim is still stressing about the Cincinnati game. All right, let's see. Team total over for the full game for the Dodgers would be a 4.5 minus 127. If you'd like to shop around, we can give you, if you find anything better. It is 5 at Heritage, so we can give you 4.5 minus 127. You want that one? LA Dodgers team total over 4.5 minus 127. You like that one?
Yeah, I like it.
So it's basically just, is Holmes going to come in here and stymie this Dodgers lineup because they just don't know how he operates, or is he going to come in and just get hit? And you think he's going to get hit?
I do. I just think this team is just on fire right now.
Okay. All right. So San Francisco, Colorado. I guess I will pass on this one, although I would be leaning to the under.
Ralph Portwando from the Bay Area. Suarez is a real deal.
Yes.
Under. Sean Thompson.
Really?
I like Suarez as well. CC Fitness. Suarez has been pitching better. They don't get swept.
Wow. Yes, very nice.
Tomor says Rockies hit lefties, and they've seen and hit Suarez, who isn't the same pitcher on the road.
Yeah, that's the only issue. I mean, he is still a young guy. You know what I mean? He's still a young guy going into Coors. Anything can happen. As you know, things tend to get shaken up at Coors both ways. Guys who are pitching well can go into Coors and do badly, and also guys who are getting crushed game in and game out sometimes go into Coors and suddenly have a great start. You know what I mean? So I'm going to stay off this game. You know, I think you probably have a value play there with San Francisco, Jim. And you know, if I had any balls, I would maybe take a shot with think about joining you. And then Cleveland, KC. Once again, I took the first 5 innings under. I'm going to stick with that. And then the only game that we haven't touched on is St. Louis, Arizona. Once again, a Corbin against Mikolas. Lamont Williams has come in and said, "Trust me, Pete. Take the first 5 innings under. And if this one cashes at all, let alone relatively easily, we will acknowledge Lamont Williams tomorrow."
And shout out to Lamont for this KC move. You know, it's a big ball play, a big boy bet. And
Absolutely.
I like it. Twatty Latte talking about his backing of the Reds. We were talking about on the early show, Twatty, you simplifying your action with just a Coors fade and the Reds super run line, money line, team total overs, and how much you've succeeded with that. It's very impressive. It's
discipline.
Discipline.
Super impressive.
Yeah,
just very impressive.
And Twatty giving us the stats here. Reds 4 runs or more in 15 of the last 16. Kingu about business says, I love Suarez today. He should be able to help his team get the win. He seems to have turned the corner from earlier in the year. Lamont Williams saying, I like that call. LA Dodgers team total solo over. I like that addition. That's my only addition so far on this
Holy shit.
show.
Mally Mal. We're going to take a 10-second break here to acknowledge Mally Mal. I'm number 1 on WNBA totals on covers out of 1643 people.
Jesus.
That's awesome.
I missed that.
Number 1. Yes, number 1 on WNBA totals.
We got so many incredible cappers in this chat, man. It's just a fucking joy. I have no reason to be struggling like I've been struggling lately.
Oh, Jim, everything's going to be cool, baby. Everything's going to be cool. Can you dig it?
I can dig it. I came down here October, November, December, and you know, I'm a Canadian. I played hockey all my life. I crushed those months, and then it's just been struggling in 2018. I always crush October, November, December because the football season, the end of the baseball season, the hockey season, basketball season. It's But I know I'm going to turn this around.
I'm glad you can dig it because I knew that you could, Jimmy the Bag. All right, so let's move on. Let's think about this.
But gas station sushi, we haven't seen in a while. Gas station sushi. Nice to have you back. It's been a while. Says Suarez is bad bet at Coors.
You know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Gas station sushi says you can't pitch to contact at Coors unless you're getting ground balls. Jeez. Yeah. Shout out to Mally Mal. I use covers to track my picks too, and that is I love it when I see like number 8 out of 1650 or something like that. Very. It's a great feeling. Mally Mal, very impressive. Not in the slightest bit surprised. I've known for a long time that Mally Mal was great on totals in the NBA. He was like the number 1 guy when he would give an opinion on the NBA total. If I was on the opposite side of that would be the strongest opinion that made me feel nervous about what I was doing. Or if he was on the same side, that would make me feel the most confident about what I was doing. Shout out and congratulations to Mally Mal. Shout out and congratulations to Mally Mal.
Absolutely, and I'm now 4-1 today.
Yeah,
so far.
Very nice.
I'm
shout out and congratulations to Jimmy the Bag.
No, I'm not number 1 out of 1643, but small steps.
Absolutely.
Get my shit back together.
All right. So let's make some final decisions on this St. Louis, Arizona game. I understand that Lamont Williams likes the under. I was thinking that I'm still not ready to be a big believer in Corbin right now, and I was thinking maybe a shot with St. Louis -1 to get a win here. I know that St. Louis doesn't have the most fearsome lineup in the world.
It's
but
not their lineup. I don't dislike their lineup. They got a lot of guys that can grind out at bats. They just can't hit lefties, and that's the only reason. Like, I like the sound of this play. When I hear it, I think, yeah, I'm sure you're getting a nice juicy line. Are you getting a big line?
Yeah,
here?
the second half is -120, but the alternative run line, because the total is so low, is +225. So I mean, if Corbin comes in and his stuff is off, they'll put up 5 runs on him. If Mikolas comes in and is, unexpectedly, awesome, he'll go 7 innings and give up 1 run. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and what's the more likely out of the two is Mikolas pitching very good. I think that's more likely.
All right, I'm going to take a shot with this. I'm going to take St. Louis -1. I'm going to take a shot with this.
Speaking of -1, Gil Gates says, thanks, Pete, for teaching me -1.
Yeah, sure. It's something that I like to do that can even be more beneficial if you have multiple outs and you don't have to take the run line and the money line at the same book. That can be a great thing to do. You can line chop and for both parts of it. All right, so the money line part, I'm going to do it right now.
And Ski Profit is backing Lamont's under in this play, saying under 4.
Wow.
Yeah, first 5. He said Lamont got it right. Ski Profit, who will be in IFBC with us.
First 5 under 4, so they're expecting both of these starters to be good. Then.
Something I know it's a holiday, so we don't have as many people watching today, but something about IFBC is the people who have not confirmed with flights or guaranteed that they'd be there, whatever, they're actually losing their spot in 24 hours. So those of you who are being on the waiting list, you'll get an email, I believe, within 48 hours, and it'll be first come, first serve. So that's going on. I just want to mention that.
So I'm going to take St. Louis -1, the money line +126 at the Greek, and the alternative run line +225 at Bet365. So that should come out to +190 or so. And Jimmy the
Grand Slam Mariners.
Oh shit, Jimmy the. Oh really? Wow.
7-6.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Really? Wait, Seattle's up 7-6?
Yeah.
It's amazing. What's up with this team, Seattle? They're like the opposite of a snake-bit team.
Well, if I hit with the Mariners and then hit with the Philly, I'll be 6-1.
You see, there's nothing to be afraid of. Everything's great. Everything's beautiful. All right, that's it for MLB. Now let's move on to rugby and to NBA. Once again, just one rugby game that we're going to cap, but it is the Melbourne against St. George. I started capping this one, and I started looking into it, and I was like, God damn. Melbourne is a great play here. Both these teams have a what? What happened?
No, I think are they messing with us?
Oh no. Oh, come on, guys. Don't I mean, I understand.
No, they're saying yes, Mariners.
Oh, I understand it's funny to fuck with guys.
No, and they're saying boom, boom. But... No, it must be happening.
Right,
I got to switch sites.
All right, okay. So, Melbourne against St. George. The deal with this game is that both teams have a lot of guys out, but St. George has a lot more guys out. Melbourne is also playing with revenge. They got blown out by St. George earlier in the year, and this is just kind of a no-brainer play. I bet Melbourne at -5.5, and I'm going to check the lines right now. I'm assuming that those are still roughly available. I'm going to check Pinnacle, and I'm going to check Heritage, but that is an official pick, and I have a separate spreadsheet for just the catch-all picks. But if I start making a lot of rugby picks,
they were fucking with me, man.
They were fucking with you.
Who said it too, man? I want to find out who this person is that fucked me.
That's not nice. It is funny. It is. Yes, I understand.
It's Marco Lou. Marco Lou from my fucking home in Vancouver. Getting me right in the old prison pocket, Marco. Hope you feel good about yourself, Marco Lou. I mean, struggling all fucking year. I need a feel-good story, and you do me like that? You do me like that, Marco Lou? You know what? If you were standing 7 feet in front of me right now, I would wait. I would come right behind you. I'd give you 2 taps right here on left. Then I would take a sharpened chopstick and I would slit your throat just right here. Not enough so you bleed out to death, but enough so you start bleeding. And then I'd push you down on the ground and I would drink as much Costa Rican tap water as I can, as fast as I can. And then I would squat over that wound that I created with the chopstick and I would unload horrifying juices from my body into your throat.
Just like what they did in Vietnam to torture the U.S. soldiers.
Just like
would put feces on the spikes. Yeah, look, I understand making fun of a guy when he's down. It's mean. It is funny. I wouldn't do it, and I would do most things that are funny. I wouldn't do that, but I acknowledge that it was funny. And shall we move on, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the Rugby League. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Again, I am having some fucking computer issues, but I bet this one at 5.5, and I assume it is still available at 5.5. And let me just check, because we do use up to the second odds here in this show. No stale odds, no odds that are even a few minutes or a few seconds stale. And I'm just gonna hopefully my computer will load here this page. But I did take Melbourne minus 5.5, and let's see if any of our resident rugby experts are in agreement with me. Are people agreeing with that one, Jim?
Yes, they are. Jason Campbell says, Pete, this is a tough game. Said I wouldn't be laying that many points on Melbourne.
Okay.
Completely stay away from it.
Okay.
Is what Jason Campbell's saying.
Well, because both teams have guys out, so I can understand why that would be a reason to expect the unexpected.
Oh yes, and that was what yes, I copied and pasted what Kyle said. Kyle said likes the Storm minus 4.5. He says both teams missing players, but Dragons missing substantially more key players.
Yes. And so I'll make that one an official pick right now. It is Melbourne.
And he's backing it. Storm is the pick for sure here.
Melbourne minus 5.5, minus 108. I also had a vague lean to the under as well, because a lot of times when you have guys who are out like that, offense, like for example in NFL, for example, anytime the backups are playing, the market will automatically lower the total by 3 points, 5 points, something like that, which is why which is why preseason NFL games have significantly lower totals than regular season games, and that's an automatic no-brainer thing that the market does. So, and this total, last time they played, it went to 48, and the total right now is 34.5. So the market may have even overreacted on that one. But I'm going to take a shot with Melbourne minus 5.5, minus 108, and the total is 34.5. Slightly into the under, but that's going to be my pick.
Glenn
Melbourne.
Kelly says, I think it will be a low-scoring game. And then, we have Summer League futures from King Rail. I'm going to copy and paste that because let's just stick with where we're at right now. Copied and paste.
Yes.
And then Glenn Kelly says, Pete, you want to get on New Zealand Warriors tomorrow. And then Colin P says, I'm on St. George plus 5.5.
Wow. Okay, so there you go. Kyle Jack says Storm is the pick for sure. Right under him, Colin P says, I'm on St. George plus 5.5. Glenn Kelly says, I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think it'll be a low-scoring game as well. Colin P, can't believe we are talking about NRL. Believe it, Colin P. If we believe it if our heart can believe it and our hands can conceive it, then our mind can achieve it. You made that one up,
Kelly said, same principle in rugby, Pete.
Yes.
And he says, Jason Campbell says, if I played anything on this game, I'd be going under 34.5. Low total, but both teams missing key attacking players. And Scott Kaler says, your show rocks. Keep it up, guys. My grandson digs you. Remember why we celebrate the 4th.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of why we celebrate the
freedom,
4th, we have Stephen Alla, who's a Marine that caps with us. So to everybody that's protected America and protected our freedom, thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I would. Wow, we should visit Australia at some point. I would love to do a two week residency.
Man.
You know, like DJs and jazz musicians have residencies. We should have a residency, like a 2-week residency in Australia, a 2-week residency in Romania. Loshak in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Handicapping residencies.
Listen, we're stars in Kenya.
Yes, we are.
That's where we go. You think they care about us in Australia? I mean, yes, we have Jason Campbell, we have Kyle Jack, we have some, but in Kenya.
We should do residencies, and what we do is we go to the games while we're there. We talk to fans of the games and get their general opinions and pick their brains. You know what I mean? We do 2-week residencies in various locales around the world, handicapping the sports that are.
Wow! Nutflush16 says, Jimmy, can my daughter Bailey? Can you believe he's got a 15-year-old daughter watching this capping show who is thinking about capping? Can she get a shout out? She's enjoying the show with me. Bailey, wow! What a great dad that you have. One of our best cappers, someone we care about very much. Part of the Low Bag family, as are you, Bailey. And yes, you have I'm sure you have a very bright future ahead of you.
Shout out to Bailey. Stay in school, okay? learn programming, learn to code, okay? And don't do drugs. People say, you shouldn't do drugs because they're not cool. Wrong. Drugs are cool. You shouldn't do them because they'll fuck up your life. But you know what I'm saying? When people say, that's why they know you're lying. People are like, drugs aren't cool. No, drugs are cool. You still don't want to do them because they'll fuck up your life. Stay in school and learn to code, okay? And think about getting into AI. That's the wave of the future. Bailey, think about getting into AI, artificial intelligence. Absolutely. Was that a good shout out?
I don't know if it was your best work.
Shout out to Bailey.
But shout out to Bailey.
Have a great life, wonderful life. Just stay in school. Acquire some skills of value. You know what I'm saying? Acquire some skills of value. All right, let's move on. Jimmy the Bag. Oh, Noah Lastark likes the under 34.5. Latte Latte says, haha, that's terrible, Pete. Not Flush 16. If that was a bad shout out to Bailey, I apologize. Trying to give her good life advice, right?
Yeah, a lot of it was good. A lot of it was good.
Don't do drugs. Is that bad life advice?
No, but saying that drugs are cool.
They are. The reason you don't do them is they'll fuck up your life. When people say drugs aren't cool, kids know you're lying to them.
Listen, I do not think that crystal meth is cool. No. All right? Crack rock? You think crack rocks are cool?
Yeah, like when you're sitting there with the pipe and everything. I'm just saying, it's when adults give a spin to kids, kids know that they're lying, and then they think they're just lying about everything. At least that's what it was when I was a kid, before the internet.
Okay,
all
sure,
right,
sure,
okay,
sure.
all right. So move on. Okay, so let's move on. Anyway, I'm taking Melbourne minus 5.5 as an official pick. People are expecting this to be a low-scoring game, and there is some disagreement as to whether or not that is actually a good pick or not. Obviously, a high spread like that and an under would be anti-correlated. Glenn Kelly likes the under at 34.5. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like in the under. It does seem like like it's the spot that most people believe in that game, without a doubt.
Oh, there you go. Bill Buttlicker says, don't grow up, Bailey. It's a trap. Shout out to Bill Buttlicker. More great advice for Bailey. I second that one, Bill Buttlicker. I second. Great comment. Love Bill Buttlicker. Friggin' love.
I disagree with that a bit. Life gets better. When you're 15, 16, there's all this stuff that you're going through that it gets better. I'm 38. I'm so happy right now in what I'm doing. And so I think Bailey's got a bright future.
Absolutely. And don't get caught up. Don't think that some stupid relationship that you're in when you're 16 years old is the end of the world.
Yeah, and who cares what these people say about you at school? You're never going to see them again. Exactly. They're absolute nobodies. As soon as you're out of school, they're a waste of energy. What you want to do is you want to use your energy towards good things like handicapping sports.
All right, Bill Buttlicker is making some comments out your own weed. All right, so I'm thinking about adding on the under 34.5 at minus 102, and I will do that one as well. I will add on the Melbourne under 34.5 minus 102 as an official play. I'm thinking that this one, Melbourne snuck out a very close win recently. It was a 9-8 game. It was very, very low scoring, and I think we might see something similar here. So I'm going to take a shot with Melbourne minus 5.5 and the under 34.5 minus 102. Those are both official plays at Pinnacle right now, and the lines are current at Pinnacle. And now let's quickly move on to a MMA. MMA? Can we move on to MMA? Give me the bag. All right,
But a couple of quick notes on the MLS that we aren't putting time and effort in, sadly. Stephen Alla, our Marine that such a great part of the Low Bag fam, says Toronto is desperate, can see goals in this. If you want to do an in-play, take the over. And then Stephen Alla also loving Atlanta in the United game.
Okay. Sounds good. So I did my call with Andreas Hale, and we broke down UFC 226. I did give an official play on the over in DC against Stipe, 3.5 minus 110. Obviously, Stipe could catch DC with one of those short inside punches and knock him out earlier in the fight. And obviously, DC might not want this one to go. But I think DC does want it to go the distance because he has a cardio advantage. I think DC's plan here is to win by decision and not get caught by Stipe, and I think he'll be able to do that. Whether he actually wins the decision or not, whether someone might gas late or not, is a different issue. But I took the over 3.5 minus 110. Andreas Hale agreed with that one, and Andreas Hale also agreed with a lot of people in the morning show who were saying that that DC is getting disrespected as this big of an underdog. Andreas Hale did make DC at plus 209 an official pick as well. And the props aren't out yet, but I said, so does that mean you think that DC by decision might be a great bet? And he said yes. So when those props come out, we'll see what the odds are for DC by decision. Should be, plus 350 plus 400, something ridiculous like that, and that might be a play with value, if not the most likely outcome. I made the over an official play. I think it's a solid play. I'm up 10 units in MMA from 2017 and 2018, and Andreas Hale likes DC to have some value, at least have value at plus 209.
Well, same with Anna Marek, right? Anna Marek is completely backing everything that Andreas Hale is saying, thinking that he's very excited about seeing what the line is on DC by submission, but his pick is DC plus 220. He thinks that there's just an insane amount of value.
Yeah, and I mean, DC could get a finish, but I think more likely, and probably his game plan is going to be to try to get a decision. You know, I mean, DC has been saying that if he loses, he's going to retire, or maybe it was people who were saying he should retire if he loses. I think DC is going to have a smart game plan to try not to get caught and to try to win a decision. So, you know, if he's successful, he might lose a decision, but I think that maybe the fight going the distance might also be worth a shot. And the prop with DC because if the fight ends early, I think that means that Stipe caught him. You know, so if the fight goes to decision, then I think DC definitely has value at that line. And so maybe the prop of DC by decision has value. And when those odds come out, I might wind up doubling up on that.
That's what Adam Merrick's saying right now. DC by decision, DC by submission.
Yes.
He also likes the over, thinks the fight goes the distance or ends late.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna look at those props when they come out. I might wind up doubling or tripling up on that fight. Then the Holloway fight, the Ortega-Holloway fight, that one I really don't know what to think. I did say that I had a lean, although a much weaker lean than the DC fight, to the over, and Andreas Hale agreed with that one as well, and he made that one an official pick, over 3.5 rounds at minus 115. He did somewhat strongly disagree, though, with all the people who were saying that Ortega has value. Some people in the morning show were saying Ortega should be the favorite. Andreas gave Holloway as an official pick, and right now the odds are all over the place. If you line shop at SBR odds, there is it's almost no vig market wide. Heritage had the best line for Holloway at minus 135, and Pinnacle had the best line for Ortega at plus 131. So just a 4-cent line market wide if you have Heritage and Pinnacle. And Andreas Hale gave Holloway minus 135 as an official pick. I don't really know what to think. Both these guys are in such great form right now, such great momentum, such great results recently. As I said to Andreas, it's hard for me to see either of these guys losing, which means that maybe the most likely result is a fight that goes the distance where neither fight really loses, and neither of the guys loses, and one of the guys wins on a controversial decision. No matter what happens, there's going to be a rematch. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, Quali says that Andreas Hale is your yoga partner. Yes, and just again, this is Clint and Anna Marek, not me. But yeah, exactly what he's saying. He's got short versions and longer versions, but he likes Ortega here. But has so much respect for Holloway. Most recent loss was to Conor McGregor 2013 by decision. Insane 12-fight winning streak. 3 of those going the distance. So granted, Chin will take a punch to land a punch. Huge for the decision, enjoying a height and reach advantage. Very interesting. But he says that will change Saturday when he fights Ortega. Maybe the only fighter in the division who can match him in height and reach.
Right. 14-0. Is that looking at their recent results? They're both facing just an extremely tough fighter, maybe the toughest fighter of their careers as far as current form is concerned. That, you know, I'm not sure we can look at their past fights and take anything from what's likely to happen and deduce anything about what's likely to happen. Sean Robertson says Ortega by knockout.
Wow, because and Americ says that Ortega may be the most dangerous submission fighter in UFC.
Yeah, yes.
He can attack from any and all positions.
Yes. You know, Anna Marek says, I got Ortega. Either guy can win. I'll take the dog with Ortega. I love Max. No disrespect to the champ. Yeah, Bill Butler says Holloway by decision. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight it's one of those fights that goes to the cards and one of the fighters wins by decision, and it's a controversial decision where people are saying one of the guys got robbed. It's inconclusive who's better. It might actually be one of those fights where there's no clear loser. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, then the fight going the distance might have some value. And Andreas Hale and with his pick and my lean on the over 3.5 might have some value. The only reason I'm just concerned about taking the over here is because, as Andy Marak and others have said, either of these guys are very, very capable of getting a finish in lots of ways in any of the first 3 rounds. You know, so if you're talking about a fight involving both of these fighters, first 5 minutes, second 5 minutes, third 5, that's a lot of minutes to give an opportunity for a finish with the dynamism of these fighters. So it's a tough one. I would be leaning over, not as strongly as my lean to the over, as my pick to the over on the DC fight, but I would have a lean to the over. And as far as the side is concerned, I don't know. I guess
wild.
I would,
So exciting, so wild. I guess. And did you make an official play?
No, I didn't have the balls to, but Andreas Hale did give Holloway and the over as official
Cody
play.
says Ortega will be the new top dog very soon. Bill Butler says, Pete, I gave you Paul Felder last Friday when he was plus 115, commented 67 times. Nobody listened. Now minus 145. Jump on him now. He'll be minus 220 by Saturday.
Holy shit! Nobody listened. Bill Butlicker. Wow. Is this? Do we know who this guy is? Has he been making comments before? Who is this guy? Do we ignore his comments?
Bill Butlicker.
I don't know who this guy. Yes, Bill Butlicker. We tried to get to as many comments as possible. What great call! A great call beating those line moves.
That's
yes,
a huge line move.
And not. I mean, that's the way these lines move. The lines are way off in MMA a lot of times, and if you can anticipate the line moves, you can easily beat a line move by 60 cents or 100 cents or something like that. And Jimmy the Bag liking Paul Felder. Yeah, Felder is a guy who has had some value over the past bunch of years. A guy who has been underrated at times and a great bet repeatedly. I recall in a bunch of shows that I did and events that I covered.
Anil Frank says Ortega inside the distance.
Wow.
Says Holloway hasn't fought in a while. Hasn't fought.
Yeah.
So in his size.
Yeah.
Listening to all you guys, I have to think you'd take the plus situation here. If you guys, if it's back and forth, and there's not a clear favorite.
Yeah, it's just that Holloway is awesome. So it's like I said in the video, I said it's just really hard for me to see either of these guys losing. You know, unless Holloway gets caught. Yeah, Ortega might catch him. Cody AV predicts that Ortega will be pick'em by fight time. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Wow.
Nutflush 16. Here's a quote from Nutflush 16. One of the most proudest moments as a father, having Bill Butlicker giving my daughter life advice. Again, best show on the planet. She's guaranteed success in life. Nutflush 16.
What a guy.
Hilarious comment.
Nutflush 16.
Hilarious comment. Exactly.
And it's a relief. It's a relief that he's not angry.
Absolutely. He's like, I brought this beautiful life into the world, and she's turning to a commenter on the internet named Bill Butlicker for advice. No, she's not turning. We're pushing the advice on her, which you shouldn't do.
No.
We should not push advice on anyone, especially kids.
Just honesty.
But shout out to yes, just don't lie to kids. That's the one thing you can really do. If you really want to help a kid out, just don't fucking lie to him. It's impossible. People love to lie. But shout out to Nutflush16 for a hilarious comment here. Jason Campbell says, Pete, write this down. Melbourne by a margin of 1-12 plus 190. Thank me tomorrow. Okay, that might be some of the props we probably should be looking into in rugby. When you have a favorite like that, minus 5.5. Of course, then if they win by 16, it loses. It does feel like when I capped it, it felt like a double-digit win for Melbourne, but maybe 1-12 at plus not 190 might be the best way to go. And I am going to copy and paste this just to remember.
Please do. And back to the MMA. Yeah. Anna Mark on a different side of Sir Butlicker saying, I'm glad the line moved. I want Platinum Perry on the other side of Felder. Perry by KO, baby.
Okay. Well, we'll see where this line closes. I love people who make line predictions on where it'll close. And Bill Butlicker has predicted that Felder will close over minus 200. That's a ballsy prediction right there. And then, of course, the Ngannou fight is awesome. This guy Ngannou is just a hilarious, awesome guy. Just a great guy. He seems like he has he's a physical beast, and he feels like mentally he's in a great position as well. He's coming off of a loss, and he's saying all the things you would think that a person with a good mental state would say coming off a loss. He's not phased. I think he's going to just steamroll over Derek Lewis, but he is a huge favorite. The market's giving Lewis about a 20% chance of winning, and I asked Andreas Hale if he thought that was a legit odds, and Andreas said yes. He says because these guys are both heavyweights, anything can happen. And Lewis is obviously, a step down from Ngannou, but still a very talented heavyweight. That he does have a 20% chance of winning. So if that's the case, then there is no value with Ngannou at minus 360. But
Anna Merrick saying I'd be curious to see if you can get a decent line on Francis by KO.
Probably not, but when those lines come out, I'll definitely be interested because it does seem like if he gets the win here, he's just going to steamroll over him and win it inside the distance.
He says Stipe showed some massive holes in his game, but you have to be able to walk through some massive punishment to be able to pull those holes to the surface.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He definitely has holes, but is Derek Lewis the kind of guy who can exploit those? I'm not convinced.
Twadi here says Lewis has a shot.
Okay, yeah. and the market is giving him a 20% chance of winning, which Andreas said was about right.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, he should have about a 20 or 25% chance of winning, which unfortunately means there's no betting value on the side. But we will look into a props when they come out, and the total was not even out when I did the call with Andreas, so I couldn't even give an opinion on the total. But we'll revisit all this when the totals come out and when the prop odds come out for various finishes, and maybe I'll be able to throw on some more picks onto my official slate. As
the
of right now,
says you're right, Pete. Francis by KO round 1.
Yeah, and if you take
that
Francis,
might be value.
Yes,
right?
if you take Francis by knockout in the first round, you'll get some nice odds there. But then again, he's got to do it in the first round. Mm-hmm. But okay, yeah. So we'll see. We'll be discussing MMA in tomorrow's shows and in Friday's shows as well. Of course, there is the Ultimate Fighter finale, which we'll break down as well in tomorrow's shows.
Oh, that's all broken down here by Clint, man. This guy's zero jokes.
Okay, we are running a little bit over. Let's see. Cody, it says if Lewis was minus 300, I put my full bankroll on Ngannou. Okay. Tuate Latte says Francis could easily gas out. Okay. Annie Maroc says Perry just moved to Jackson's MMA, the best fight team in the game. He's going to be improved. Interesting shit here. I'm going to look into these. A lot more. Ty Rich says Francis knockout in round 1 plus 140. There you go. Wow. That might be, because if he doesn't get the first round knockout, then cardio might come into it. Then Lewis might make some adjustments, and you might be right. You might be right that if it's a dominant KO by Francis, it's more likely than not to come in the first round, and you're getting underdog odds there. Great analysis from the comment section here. As always, yes. All right, unfortunately, we do have to end the show right now, but once again, we'll be back tomorrow.
And?
That's right. I forgot about that. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time to cover the Thursday card. And right now, though, it is your favorite part of the show and ours, Lucrative Larry's Play of the Future. Did he win his last one?
He did win his last one.
Wow, really? Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, a lot of comments coming in on.
Is he mic'd? He's mic'd. Look at this guy.
All right. Okay.
Of course he's
okay.
Mic'd.
Here we go. I can stand wherever I want.
Yes. Absolutely.
We're gonna be here.
You've earned that. You've earned that right with wins.
Can I be here?
Anywhere you like. Anywhere you feel comfortable.
Just try to keep a brisk pace. No, I'm kidding. We don't need a brisk pace. Whatever you want to do. Whatever, just do you. You do you, Lucrative Larry.
I'm going to sit down.
Okay.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
Lucrative Larry, in the midst of doing himself on camera.
I'm heading to the Tour de France. I don't know, man. This year, I see crashes. I see injuries. I see feces being thrown at the people.
Jesus.
At the riders, of course.
Jesus.
I see urine being thrown at them. Of course I do.
Jesus.
Wind. A lot of wind.
Oh, wind's a lot better than feces and urine.
That's why I'm taking under 148.5 finishers at minus 120. I'd bet 365.
Wow, because they'll be knocked out by the feces and the urine as well as the crashes.
Who knows where they're going to throw the people? But I do see that.
Okay.
Wow,
sounds good. Sounds good. That's our favorite part of the show and yours. Lucrative Larry's Play of the Future under 148 finishers in Tour de France. When will we know whether that has cashed or not?
Not for weeks.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax.
Okay.
But under 148.5 finishers at minus 120, I believe he said.
Sounds good. I'm a buyer. Why not? Yeah. That's it for today's show. We'll be back at 12 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow to cover the Thursday card. Thanks so much, everyone.